Jonathan Bernier was a star last night.
Yeah, he was.
That's a positive. He's been playing better in the last, 10 games. I know Saturday happened. Try and forget it. But he's looking more and more like last year's Jonathan Bernier, and that's a positive point forward because they didn't deal him. There you go.
Once again, we said positive, not delusional. Is it going to be positive when they sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal, like north of $4.5 million? Delusional. Then you start regretting that you signed him to that contract?
It's not delusional.
But I don't want to be negative.
He's played in front of this defense for the last 2 years, and last year he was amazing. Why is this year more?
I really like you as a person, as a friend, and as a sportscaster, Fabro. But if we haven't figured out that Jonathan Bernier still isn't the number one goaltender when we haven't treated him like one and he hasn't deserved it until now, negative.
He was outstanding last year. He was the worst defense ever. This year, not as good.
Speaking of that blue line, Dean, Tim Erickson last night, the 6'2" blue liner, played just over 14 minutes. He was a -2. But he played well. He's a guy who just turned 24. He was a first rounder in 09, and maybe he has some upside to be a top 8 blue liner on the Maple Leafs moving forward. Let me ask you a question, too, guys, and maybe you can help answer this. And this is a very serious hockey question. But when you look at the team that they were able to ice last night, were you not a little bit proud of this team? Like, did you not take something out? You know, they sit Kadri, which I'm going to get to later. It's a conspiracy. They sit Kadri. They shelf 2 guys for the season, Polak and Robida. Those are 3 position players. 2 of 3 have had probably by and large the best years out of anybody on this team. And they are still competitive with one of the best teams in the National Hockey League, tied for first in the East now. Take something out of that. Can you not? Yes. They fought hard. They fought hard and got a point, which doesn't help them in the quest for Connor McDavid. But they fought hard, and it seems like this team only responds to adversity. And the Nazem Kadri fiasco was the latest thing that lit a fire underneath this team, and we saw it on the ice. Stickgate, Randy Carlyle getting fired. I didn't really respond to that. But there's certain things that actually gets this team going, and the Nazem Kadri thing, whether or not they're related, the team played well last night. I'll tell you about that in a minute, but right now, because the fix is in. I connected some crazy dots the other day in my basement with like yarn and tacks on the wall. I'll tell you about that in a second. Right now, time for the top 5 things you need to know today. Brought to you by Rogers Hometown Hockey Sundays on City TV. Number 5, the NHL last night. Bad news, everyone. If you're an Oilers fan, with a 5-2 loss to Detroit, the Edmonton Oilers have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. That's news. Surprise face. Number 4, NFL free agency officially opens today at 4. This is going to be fun. See if all the rumors are true. Usually they are. What is it? Loose lips sink ships? These are some of the worst kept secrets in the world. We'll find out today that the Patriots have apparently declined the $20 million option on cornerback Darrelle Revis. Texans releasing Andre Johnson, which was a surprise to Johnson. And how much and where will DeMarco Murray land? Is he going to stay in Dallas? Who knows? Also, the 49ers offseason woes continue. Patrick Willis expected to retire. He's a stud. Jays, number 3. They lost both split squad games yesterday. Daniel Norris, not great. 3 runs in 2 innings in a 6-4 loss. Marcus Stroman, pretty great. Pitched 3 scoreless innings against Minnesota. Loves throwing to Russell Martin.
Today was awesome. I mean, it was pretty good for the first time and catching him in the game. We're pretty much on the same page, and just looking forward to developing that relationship and get to the point where we're very in sync with one another.
They play Minnesota today at 1 with Mike and Joe. You can catch that on Sportsnet590.ca. Number 2, Raptors get back at it tonight in San Antonio, trying to snap out of their funk. Masai Ujiri, general manager of the Toronto Raptors, making headlines last night, speaking of the Canadian Basketball Forum, saying, quote, "There's no doubt in my mind, and I know in my time there will be a Canadian basketball player playing for Toronto Raptors, 100%. He then goes on to drop this knowledge. We all know who he is, but I won't say his name. He might be Canadian. So great. So great. Hail City doesn't regret saying F Brooklyn and City do it again. Raptors and Spurs, 8:30 pregame with Smith and Jones at 8. Right here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. And the number one thing you need to know today.
Leafs blowing a couple of 2-goal leads in the third, lose 4-3 in overtime as John Tavares nets the winner for the Islanders. JVR led the Leafs with 1-1 and talks about moving off the top line.
I think things got a little stale in the past 15 or so games with the power line, and we weren't clicking very well lately and not producing, so obviously, things were going to change, and yeah, I mean, sometimes it gives you a little kind of kickstart when things get switched up.
It's interesting how the JVR said something there. He said, things got a little stale in the last 15 games. Don't call Peter Horacek a slow learner. All right. Those are the top 5 things you need to know today. Brought to you by Rogers Hometown Hockey, Sundays on City TV. 15 games.
That second line with Pocket and Holland was good with JVR.
Yeah.
That's a positive. Sticking by that.
Fabro.
But a negative, Phil Kessel, 10 points in his last 29 games. It's not a good thing when you go off Phil Kessel's line.
You're
find
raining on our
offense.
parade again.
I'm just providing some context and some...
He's right.
Well, listen, sometimes
speaking of the truth,
yeah,
there's
got to
sometimes
be a little
fact
salt
is
in it too.
negative, but like, you can't tell me that Fabro's not onto something. When you have to find some offense by moving someone off of Phil Kessel's line, and that offense gets generated on that second line with a castaway from the Tampa Bay Lightning, I mean, it's Phil.
Or they got lucky grabbing Richard Potting. Dean, that's a positive.
Well, you are just...
I know, I'm reaching.
annoying,
Really
sunny
reaching.
today. Yeah. 7:17.
I'm reaching.
Like, you had a colonoscopy today?
We're like, great.